Time for a garage AC update. But first, the liquid fan in the garage. Yep, she's still working as well. Doing just mighty fine, as they say. It's got a little rattle to it every now and again. That sometimes happens. It's not doing it at the moment, but occasionally it'll rattle a little bit. I'm wondering if maybe it's just because that hex line is near it and sometimes it can get, you know, up against it, and maybe that was it. I have no idea, but sometimes it's a little rattly. I'll see if I can move that a little, so maybe it won't be. But that's been doing fine. So anyway, on to the AC. Now there's been some changes here. It's obviously the same unit. I have it set to 68. First thing you're going to notice is in the vents there is what looks like duct tape. Well, that's exactly what it is. And I put that in there at the beginning of the season, and it seems to have started peeling off. But it's doing its job, and its job was to prevent the 3 vanes inside from sort of rattling back and forth a bit. I just sort of went in there and wrapped it around, and that was really it. I think I had the front cover off for that. But otherwise it's been running great. It's set at 68, like I said. I did have to make one little modification to it. That modification is right here. That is the sensor that is behind the grill and behind the filter on the evaporator. What was happening was Sharky626 pointed out that perhaps this unit was oversized for the area, and I do tend to agree he was probably right. But the main idea here is to cool the garage off very quickly rather than to have it just run and run and run and kill the humidity and do everything an air conditioner is supposed to. I still think it's oversized, yes. It is 2 ton for, you know, this area. You know, I mean, it's big, but it's not that big. It certainly does a fine job of cooling this place down, and it does it in a hurry. Obviously, you can see a little daylight through the bottom in that. These walls aren't insulated or anything, so, you know, it does have to fight a losing battle. But I found that with that sensor where it belongs, the unit would short cycle, and it would short cycle a lot. I mean, it was just on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off. Now, what I did was I pulled that out. It just has little plastic protrusions that stick into the evaporator. I just pulled it off of there. I did have to take the front cover off, obviously, for that. And the control panel had 2 bolts I had to remove so I could snake the wire out where the you know, AC line goes in, the power line goes in. And now it just hangs there and grabs the ambient temperature rather than the temperature at the evaporator. Now the reason why that's good is because now the garage stays at a much more consistent temperature rather than it having very cold air right up against it, next to it, because the evaporator's cold, okay? Plus you have cold air rushing through that and all the turbulence of it. And what would happen is as soon as the compressor would stop, then warmer air would be sucked in over it. The evaporator itself behind it would get warm, and it would say, oh, turn on the compressor, and it would do that. So I'm going to get you an outside shot of this in a moment. I'm going to get you a startup of the unit on the outside. I just set it to 70. I'm going to open the garage door and it should warm up rather quickly. I'll set the camera up and then I'll edit the video down. Well, that's about the best shot I'm going to be able to give you with it you know, with the rose bouche. So that'll have to be. The compressor's on this side, so you'll hear it better. And I'm gonna go move the temperature back down, and then it's gotta sit and cook for a couple of minutes until it wants to restart, until the control board lets it restart, and then you'll hear it. And there it is, it's running now. I don't know why it makes that weird sound at startup, it just does. But it's running now, and it's got quite a bit of a heat load on it since the big garage door is open. And that's generally what you hear. Now I'll see if I can get you a little closer. When we had this unit out, we had attempted to fix the fins on the back using the fin combs that I have, but these gashes, if you will, are just way too deep for it, and I didn't have the time or patience to go and actually pick them out manually so I could then comb them. It's fine, it's not hurting anything, and the bush is certainly way too much in the way to even bother. Here's a little closer up for the best I can do with the bush in the way. And there is some nice hot air coming out of there. So it has been running very well since it's fixed with the new fan blade. And that's really it. With the temperature sensor out of the evaporator now, it's been doing a much better job of keeping the garage at a more even temperature. Even though I've had the garage door open for some time, you can see we're just about right on 68 degrees. So it does a fine job of keeping this cool. And one last thing, I was away for a few days not too long ago when I did the review of the Amir meat thermometer product with the dual probes on it. And I said, you know what, I'm not going to be here, no one's going in the garage, there's really no sense in leaving this unit on, plus what if something happens and I'm not here? So I said, let me shut it off, and I did. And when we came back, it was blazing fucking hot in here. Absolutely blazing. So it definitely is doing a fine job, and I don't know how I ever lived without it. So big thanks to Lexmarks567 once again for installing this and then helping to repair it. That's going to do it for this time. Thank you for watching. Make sure you click like. Make sure you click subscribe, and take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.